I should have known this was a terrible idea the moment Jake texted me at 2 a.m. with, "Dude, my landlord's selling the building. Can I crash at your place for a few weeks?" A few weeks. That's what he said. That was 8 months ago. Let me back up. Jake and I met freshman year of college when we were randomly assigned as lab partners in Chemistry 101. He was the stereotypical straight guy, played intramural basketball, dated a rotating cast of sorority girls, and could quote every line from Fight Club. I was the openly gay theater kid who somehow ended up in a STEM major to appease my parents. We shouldn't have clicked, but we did. Maybe it was because Jake never made my sexuality a thing. When I came out to him over pizza one night, he just shrugged and said, "Cool. You gonna finish those breadsticks?" Fast forward 6 years. We'd both graduated, stayed in the same city, and maintained our friendship through post-college chaos. I was working as a graphic designer at a startup, living in a decent 2-bedroom apartment in the city. Jake was teaching high school history and apparently had the world's worst luck with landlords. "Just until I find a place," he promised, carrying a duffel bag and a PlayStation into my apartment. Famous last words. The first month was fine. Great, even. Jake was a solid roommate, cleaned up after himself, paid for groceries, and introduced me to the joy of Sunday football, which I pretended to understand while secretly just enjoying the snacks. But then came month 2. When Jake started getting comfortable, it started small. He stopped wearing shirts around the apartment. Not a huge deal, right? Except Jake had spent the past year getting really into CrossFit, and suddenly my living room featured a shirtless Greek statue who occasionally scratched himself and burped the alphabet. I'm not blind. I'm gay, not dead. But Jake was my best friend and very straight, so I did what any reasonable person would do. I suffered in silence and took a lot of cold showers. Then he started the cuddling thing, bro. "Your couch is so comfortable," Jake said one evening, sprawling across it while I tried to watch Schitt's Creek. "Move over." There wasn't really room to move over, but Jake somehow wedged himself behind me, his arm draped over my shoulder like this was completely normal. Jake?" This is the good part," he said, even though he'd never watched a single episode before. This became our routine. Every evening, Jake would plant himself on the couch, pull me into what I can only describe as an aggressive cuddle, and provide running commentary on whatever we watched. "This is just how guys are," my friend Madison said when I complained to her over drinks. "Straight dudes are weirdly physical with each other. It's Madison, he plays with my hair." "What?" "While we watch TV, he just ... twirls it around his finger absent-mindedly." She stared at me. That's not normal straight guy behavior." Month 3 brought Sarah John. Jake had been seeing her casually for a few weeks, and she seemed nice enough marketing executive. Really into hot yoga, laughed at all his jokes. Normal girlfriend stuff, except Jake barely saw her. "Why didn't you go to Sarah's place tonight?" I asked one Friday when he was once again occupying 70% of our couch. "She has roommates. They're loud." He grabbed the remote. "Plus, we're watching that baking show tonight." "The one with the British tent? The Great British Bake Off?" "Yeah, that one." "You said we'd watch it together." "Jake, you have a girlfriend." "Shouldn't you be? She's doing girls' night." Now it's starting. Things got weirder when Sarah actually came over. She'd arrive, take one look at Jake and me intertwined on the couch like a pretzel, and her smile would tighten just slightly. "You two are close," she observed one night. "He's my best friend," Jake said, not moving his arm from around my shoulders. "Right," Sarah said. "Your best friend who you live with and cuddle with." While watching romantic comedies. "It's not a rom-com, it's a heist movie," Jake corrected. "There just happens to be a love story." Sarah lasted another 3 weeks before she broke up with him over text. Jake seemed confused about why. She said I was emotionally unavailable and clearly in a relationship with someone else. He told me, scrolling through his phone. "What does that even mean?" I looked at him sitting on my bed. When did he start hanging out in my bedroom? Wearing my sweatpants he'd claimed them 2 months ago. Eating the fancy ice cream I'd bought for myself a regular occurrence now? Can't imagine. I said flatly. Month 5 was when I started losing my mind. It wasn't just the physical proximity anymore. Jake had integrated himself into every aspect of my life. He joined my friend groups, started coming to my work happy hours, and somehow became the person everyone asked about when I showed up alone. "Where's Jake?" became a more common question than "How are you?" But the worst part, the absolute worst part, I was catching feelings. Real, legitimate, devastating feelings for my straight best friend who used me as a human teddy bear and probably thought emotional intimacy was a type of craft beer. I tried creating distance. I made plans that didn't include him, stayed late at work, and started going to the gym, Jake's gym, naturally, where he got way too excited about being my workout buddy. Nothing worked. "You've been weird lately," Jake said one night, cornering me in the kitchen. Did I do something? Yes, I wanted to scream. "You did everything. You moved into my home and my life and my heart, and you have absolutely no idea what you're doing to me." "No," I said instead. "Just stressed about work? Want to talk about it?" He stepped closer, putting his hand on my shoulder in that casual way that made my heart race. "You know you can tell me anything, right?" The sincerity in his eyes almost broke me. "I'm fine." "Jake, I wasn't fine. Everything came to a head at Madison's birthday. Party in month 6. The theme was fancy cocktails and bad decisions, which should have been my first warning sign. Madison's parties were legendary for creating drama. I walked in already feeling emotionally fragile. Jake, of course, came with me. Because Jake came everywhere with me now, he said excitedly, steering me toward the drinks. "Let's get weird." 3 Moscow mules later, I was feeling very weird. Jake had his arm around my waist, steering me through conversations, laughing at my jokes. In generally being the perfect not boyfriend that he was. That's when I saw him. Derek, my ex from 2 years ago. The one who broke my heart by choosing a job in Seattle over our relationship. Is that Jake started. You want me to spill a drink on him? Despite everything, I laughed. I'm fine. It's been 2 years. But I wasn't fine. And when Derek approached me with his new boyfriend, a handsome lawyer named Marcus, who was probably perfect height, definitely wasn't fine. "You look good," Derek said, his eyes sliding to Jake and back to me. "Really good?" "This is Jake, the roommate," Jake said, extending his hand. "Best friend. Partner in crime. Person who helped him get over you." Derek's eyebrows rose. "Roommate. And best friend," Jake repeated, pulling me closer. "He's told me all about you. I'm sure he has." The conversation was awkward, but what happened after was worse. Much worse, because when Derek and Marcus walked away, clearly very much in love and happy, I excused myself to the bathroom and had a minor breakdown. I was crying over the sink, trying to pull myself together when Jake burst through the door. "Occupied." I said, "I don't care. You've been in here for 15 minutes? He locked the door behind him and faced me. "Talk to me. I'm fine. You're crying in a bathroom at a party." That's like the opposite of fine. "Jake, please, is this about Derek?" Because screw that guy. "You're way better off without him. It's not about Derek." The words burst out of me before I could stop them. "It's about you." Jake blinked. "Me? What did I do?" And there it was. The moment I'd been dreading for months. I could lie. Make up something about him leaving dishes in the sink or taking too long in the bathroom. But I was drunk and tired and so incredibly done with pretending. "You moved in and you became everything, Jake. You're in my space and my life and my head. When you do all these things that feel like I gestured helplessly, like we're together. But we're not. Because you're straight, and I'm the idiot who fell in love with his straight best friend. Again." The silence that followed was deafening. Jake's face went through several emotions: surprise, confusion, and something else I couldn't quite read. "You love me? Forget it." I tried to push past him. "I'll find another place to live. You can keep the apartment." "Wait," he grabbed my arm. "Just wait. Jake, please don't make this worse. I'm not straight." The words hung in the air between us. "What?" "I'm not straight," he repeated, looking almost panicked. I didn't think I thought maybe I was. But then I moved in with you, and everything felt different. Better, right? and I kept telling myself it was just friendship. But friends don't. He ran his hand through his hair. Friends don't feel like this. My brain was short-circuiting. Like what? Like I can't breathe when you're not around. Like the best part of my day is coming home to you. Like I'd rather spend every night on that couch with you than anywhere else in the world. He stepped closer. Sarah broke up with me because she said I was in love with someone else. And she was right. I just didn't realize it was you until she said it out loud. You're not straight, I repeated dumbly. Apparently not. He laughed nervously. I'm sorry it took me so long to figure it out. I've been so comfortable with you that I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to feel like this about my best friend. The cuddling and the touching and wanting to spend every second with you. I thought that was normal because everything with you feels normal, natural, easy. Jake, I love you, he said simply. I'm in love with you. And I know I screwed this up by being oblivious for months. But if there's any chance I kissed him, it wasn't smooth or practiced or anything like the movies. It was desperate and messy and tasted like Moscow mules and tears. And it was absolutely perfect. When we finally broke apart, Jake was grinning like an idiot. So, he said, does this mean I can stay? I laughed despite myself. You're the worst. Yeah, but I'm your worst. He pulled me closer. Besides, we have a lease together now. We don't have a lease together. Not yet. But I was thinking, he pressed his forehead against mine. Why would I look for a new place when I'm already home? 1 year later, you're going to burn the bacon. I'm not going to burn the bacon. I'm a teacher. I'm good at following instructions. Jake, the pan is literally smoking. That's just ... Extra flavor. I hip-checked him away from the stove and rescued our breakfast while he laughed and wrapped his arms around me from behind. Remember when you thought I was straight? He murmured against my neck. Remember when you thought cuddling your male best friend every night was heterosexual behavior? In my defense, I'd never felt that way before. I didn't have a reference point. I turned in his arms and kissed him properly. You're lucky you're cute. I'm lucky for a lot of reasons. He gestured around our apartment. Our apartment officially now, with both our names on the lease. Lucky I had a terrible landlord. Lucky you let me crash here. Lucky I had a best friend patient enough to wait for me to pull my head out of my ass. It was a long wait, but worth it. I looked at him, this person who'd started as my lab partner, became my best friend, and somehow ended up being the love of my life, and smiled. Yeah, I said. Worth it. From the living room, my phone buzzed with a text from Madison. Asterisk told you he wasn't straight. You owe me $20. Asterisk Madison says, you owe her money, I told Jake. Madison can wait. I'm busy being disgustingly in love with my roommate. He kissed me again. Also, the bacon is definitely burning now. Damn it, Jake. Some things, I suppose, never change. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. The end.